Groups and permissions. In this tutorial, we are going to have a look at the usage of groups in the relationship to JIRA permissions. In particular, you will learn how to use groups to provide a set of users with some project or JIRA application permissions. Let's have a look now how you use groups in JIRA to grant JIRA permissions. The best way to illustrate the usefulness of groups for providing users JIRA permissions is to show you how the default JIRA groups is being used. For example, if you want to grant application access to the users who are new to JIRA and who have been just created in your application, you can automatically add them to some group, and you do it via the application access page. So type GG and write application access in the search bar, press enter. And on this page, you will see a group or groups which are default. Do you see this checkbox? It defines that this group is a default group for JIRA, meaning that all new users who are being created in JIRA will automatically become members of this group. And JIRA should have at least one group default, because this is the way how you can grant your users permissions, such as permission to browse projects or permission to create issue. You can add more than one group. For example, we can add developers, make it also default group, and then all new users will become members of the both groups. Or you can make it only developers by deselecting the JIRA software users. And in this way, you can decide the scope of the permissions that you want to give to all new created users. For now, let's leave it JIRA software users group, because it's already a group that was created by default and has all necessary permissions that users need to be able to function in JIRA. When we come back to the permissions, you will see what kind of permissions you can give to users and what kind of permissions you can restrict and why. And this is one way how you can use groups to grant users permissions, by granting them some global permissions. You can also grant some project permissions using groups. For example, if we go to any project, go to project settings, go to permissions here, and we will see that different kind of permissions, and we'll click edit permissions. And for example, if we want only developers to be able to create issues in this project, we will need to edit the create issues permissions and grant to a group, for example, developers. And let's grant only developers being able, grant permission create issues. So all people who are members of the developers group will be able to create issues in this project. However, it is a better practice to grant project permissions to some project role and then grant project role to some permission. But we will discuss it later when we come back to the project roles. For now, it is important to know that you can assign global project permissions to a group and use groups to grant your users some kind of permissions. In the next tutorial, we are going to discover how groups could be used to notify a set of users about some event in JIRA.